We'll move on to our next story and speaker, Srividya, and the title is Healing Out Loud. Srividya is a software developer currently working at Fidelity Investments. Alongside her technical career, she's trained in Carnatic classical music, adding a creative dimension to her profile. She's also been an active Toastmaster for over 5 years, continually honing her communication and leadership skills. In her spare time, she enjoys reading books and listening to music that keeps her inspired and grounded. I welcome you, Shri Vidya. Thank you so much for agreeing to share your story with us. And thank you, Pramod, for introducing Shri Vidya to us. Over to you, Shri Vidya. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for that warm introduction. Am I audible and visible? Thanks. Healing out loud. I was a normal teenager, a normal book in all conventional senses when anyone looked at me. But there were a few chapters at that point in life, in the book of my life, that weren't so perfect. Some pages were quite scattered, some terribly scribbled, some even blank and missing because I didn't know what I was doing. I was still figuring my way out in my life. Today, I want to take you through one such scattered chapter of my life. This was many years ago when I was a teenager just out of school. I was freshly into college in first PUC. It was towards the end of our first PUC, around the exam season, end of the year. Most days in college were pretty normal and mundane. I'd start my day, get onto the college bus, reach college, sing some prayers in the assembly, go to class, learn something, have a nice time with my friends, go back home, finish assignments, and sleep. That used to repeat on most of the days. And also, this was PUC, right? And if you've grown up in an Indian family, you would have probably been told that this is the turning point of your life and that you wouldn't have to worry about anything if you did well in your second PUC exams and scored really well. I also came from one such family, and I genuinely believed that this was everything, and I just had to study. I have to do well in my exams, and then I wouldn't have a care in the world. I can live my life really well. One of these days were not so normal for me because just as usual, I got into the van, reached college, and went to my assembly hall, but something didn't feel right. There was an unsettling feeling within me, and I didn't know what it was. I was just scared. I knew that I was scared because my heart was beating fast and my palms were a little sweaty, and I didn't know why I was scared because there was no reason for that to happen. No one scolded me before assembly. There was no test or exam for me to be worried or tense that day. I just went to the top of the line, started singing the prayer, and to dissipate the nervous energy, I started screaming the prayer at the top of my voice, hoping that I'll feel better. And after a few minutes, I did. I thought, okay, maybe I didn't have breakfast that morning, so I was feeling a little fuzzy, but now I'm all right. The next day, I went to college, and the same thing happened once again in the assembly hall right before prayer. I stood in the line, just about to sing prayer. Again, sweaty palms, heartbeat so loud and so fast. And I was so scared. And the fact that I didn't know why I was scared scared me even more because I didn't know why that was happening. There was no real reason why that happened. And my teenage brain led me believe that I'm feeling anxious because of a rumor that I heard a little bit earlier, which was that my favorite teacher was leaving my college and going away. And I really believed that that was the reason I was so anxious that, oh, my favorite teacher is leaving now. Who will teach me chemistry? Maybe I'll fail. Or some juvenile teenage thought that I had at that point in time. The next day, it happened again. That day, I had an exam as well, and I was also a little tensed for the exam. So I thought, okay, maybe I had the exam and I was worried about how I do, and it happened. The next morning, the same thing. I could only hear my heartbeat when I entered the assembly hall, and this day it was out of control. No amount of fidgeting, no amount of loud singing the prayer helped me calm down. My legs started to shiver, and I couldn't hold the weight of my body anymore. I just fell down. My friends and teachers came to my aid. They gave me some glucose and a piece of chocolate to help me feel better. After a little while, I did feel better. I finished my exam, went back home. And because I fell down that day, my teachers thought that it needs to be brought to the attention of my parents. And they informed my parents that such a thing happened to your daughter. She fell down today in the morning. So please take care. And my parents also thought that it's because I skip breakfast every day, and I was given a whole lecture about how skipping breakfast is so bad for your health and that you will have some brain damaging issues in your future if you keep skipping breakfast and taking your health for granted, etc. And then I started having breakfast, but the issue did not stop there. I kept experiencing the same fear of I don't know what every single morning. After a few days, this was not just a problem I faced in the assembly hall, but also in my bedroom late at night. It started interfering with my sleep. I'd just have an abstract dream of people's faces popping in front of me, and I didn't even recognize those people, and I'd just get scared and wake up in the middle of the night. And because of the fast paced heartbeats, and because I was so scared, I think my body was metabolizing faster. Also, I'd feel hungry and tired very quickly after I experienced this. There were so many nights where in the middle of the night I was so scared that I'd faint or fall down because of this, that I started looking for whatever food I could find to help my energy levels rise in the middle of the night. And my mother caught me on one of these nights while I was trying to like eat a raw carrot from the fridge that night, and she was so scared to see me do that out of the blue in the middle of the night someday. And then they began taking it more seriously that okay, it was not the breakfast or maybe not even the exam fear, we need to talk to her. So my parents got more involved seriously with me, trying to ask me what was going on with me. None of that helped me. And one of my teachers had suggested therapy, but my family did not consider that at that point because it's considered a taboo, and only people with mental issues go to therapists, etc. And we didn't even visit a doctor. And this issue did not stop. And after more than a week of not being able to sleep, my parents were also worried sick. They did not know what to do with me. I didn't know what to do with myself or why this was even happening with me. Suddenly, like a godsend, my school friend, who's a senior in my school, we were out of touch for a while, and she happened to call me randomly one day. We began speaking, and I mentioned to her that this thing is happening with me. I haven't been able to sleep for a few days now, and it's just inexplicable. I don't know what to do. And her mother happened to be a person who does counseling for children. And she suggested that I reach out to her mother and maybe I could benefit from having a few sessions with her. And all thanks to her, and because it was a trusted friend and my parents knew of her and her family, I was allowed to go to her house and speak with her mother. The first session was kind of awkward because I didn't know what to expect out of this. I didn't know what it was. He just asked me to describe what happened with me and to just talk about how I felt when all of that was happening. I didn't really have a lot to say. I just said that, I went to the assembly hall, fell down, blah, blah. I don't know what she got from that. And I was also kind of scared of the judgment around it because it was my friend's mother and what would she think of me. And I didn't know what was significant enough to tell her about this. I just told what I thought was okay to share, and she just patiently listened without any judgment and just allowed me to speak. That day, she gave me a tip. that start writing in a notebook, whatever you feel. Like daily, just write down your thoughts in a notebook. And I was juvenile to understand that she was talking about journaling and I had to write about my feelings. Because my first journal entry was just the highlight of that day for me, which back then was that Ramu uncle in my college got gobi manchuri for snacks that day, and I was thrilled about it. So I wrote a whole page about how it made me so happy to have that gobi manchuri, and I thanked Ramu uncle. Then she asked me in the next session about what I wrote about, and I told her this is what I wrote. She's like, all right, but next time, don't just write about when you feel happy, but also consider writing when you feel scared or sad or angry or any other emotion that you experience. Just try writing about it. And that helped me so much. And also, the quality of this succeeding sessions also improved because I could tell her more about what I was feeling when those things happened to me and when I woke up in the middle of the night because I wrote about those things and I told her more about the phases that I was seeing, about how I thought because my teacher was leaving school, I felt anxious, etc. And with more sessions, I unpacked so many things that I was feeling that I didn't even know was impacting me. It was the fear of exams, the fear of disappointing my parents, some teenage politics in my classroom, the fear of judgment from my friends, or the few whispers I heard or I thought I heard that were about me in college. And so many things were laid out in front of me, and I began to understand myself a little more and more. And after about 8 to 10 sessions with her, and after just talking my heart out to her, I finally had a night of peaceful sleep. I began sleeping better, I began eating better, my health improved, and I saw myself feeling more healthy both mentally and physically after those sessions. Eventually, my exams went well, and I never had to revisit such an episode in my life since. Thanks to my friend's mother Vani and my friend who was a godsend and called me at the right time. I just wanted to share this today because a lot of times teenagers or adults, anybody, we go through so many different things in our life, be it small or big, and we experience a lot of emotions. And many a times we may not be very well equipped to handle them ourselves, and there's no shame in reaching out for help because a lot of people in our society even today believe that mental health is a taboo and there's a lot of stigma around going to therapy or reaching out to a professional for help. But I just want to say that you don't have to have any like serious problems or like you don't need to be cray to go to a therapist, and none of your feelings are insignificant. A lot of times someone in your personal circle may be able to help you deal with or process your emotions better, but sometimes you may require professional help as well. And reaching out does not mean that you're weak. It simply means that you're acknowledging that you're human and we are all bound to these feel these emotions, and there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes healing need not really happen in silence or it need not happen alone. A little bit of support can go a long way, and sometimes you need to heal out loud and allow yourself to do that. And in this whole process of sessions with Vani Auntie and my journaling since then has helped me understand myself so much more. I've recognized so many patterns in me, so many emotions and triggers that cause those emotions in me. I've learned about myself a lot better, gotten to know myself better, and in that process, I have personally grown. And I hope that everybody finds that joy in getting to know themselves a little better and help help themselves or allow themselves rather to heal out loud. Thank you all for listening and thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, Srividya, for sharing your story and